Today on One Mic, we ask artists to describe the sound of Toronto.
All I need is one mic.
I mean, I'm from the West Coast, so from my perspective, being out in Toronto, the sound, I would say, is definitely heavily jazz influenced. I mean, I work with a lot of guys that use live instruments when we record and build instrumentals, and I mean, I think there's just a huge general respect for people that can play instruments in the town, and everybody gets a lot of support from my point of view, for sure. That's what I see.
Right now, I feel like Toronto, luckily, is in the spotlight due to a lot of artists that are bringing light to it, so the sound is it seems to be the sound of a genre, you know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds like its own genre. It's new, it's synthy, it's eclectic, it's a lot of stuff.
I think the sound of Toronto this year, it's finally becoming its own. It's really old school, it's very new at the same time, but very much influenced by the cultures that represent the city, which is real cool. So you can't really just define Toronto as one thing anymore.
There's a synergy of colors, culturally, people's experiences, people's vibrations, definitely. So I'm there in the crowd and people are just dancing, like, just feeding that, everyone. And, with my friends and trying to get a picture, then someone's like, can I take a picture for you? And everyone's happy to interact because we're here for the same, the main ethos is just music and knowing it's a language and solidarity. So I feel really welcome and I felt at home.
I think we're finally getting our own identity, man. I think it took a while to actually get there. I think we were emulating a lot of what was popping, across the border from us, in other countries. But now it's like, man, we got our own wave, and then on top of that, our stuff is starting to sound better than the stuff we used to imitate. So it's like now we're on a plateau where the whole world is watching. It's not just local Toronto artists no more. You gotta just travel. We have the opportunity to travel abroad now, and it's working out in our favor, man.
There's a lot of creative sounds coming out of Toronto. I mean, in general, this place is a music city. Everybody loves their music, and you got people like Junia, you got people like Tona, all the people that perform today. They all have something to bring to the table, right? And for us to have been together on one stage and bringing out the music to you guys live and direct here on Nathan Phillips Square, I thought it was just amazing. Just hearing all the talent just spewing out of all these people. Yeah.
A lot of artists coming out with a different sound that nobody else has had before, and I feel like a lot of artists are struggling with it, but they're trying really hard to be different. So I feel like there's no certain specific sound in Toronto. I feel like everyone is kind of just doing their own thing, which is cool because now Toronto's getting a lot of notice that they weren't getting before.
Everything's got this kind of ambient vibe right now. Production is there's a lot of space, and that I think helps kind of focus on the artist. So that's an interesting movement, I think, in terms of, and a lot of people don't give credit for Toronto for having that kind of sound, but I think you really do have to credit that camp, 40 and those guys for sort of developing a pop sound that really wasn't prevalent beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
We don't think of it as it wasn't a grassroots movement, but it really is the sound of Toronto in a lot of ways. In terms of hip-hop music, for sure. The nice thing about Toronto is it's such an unbelievable culture here that there really is room for everything. I mean, there's a great Caribbean culture here. So you hear a lot of Caribbean influence in the music, reggae and dancehall. You hear great jazz influences. You hear a lot of different things. So, and because it's such a multicultural town and an international city too, it's a really interesting sort of melting pot.
All I need is one mic.
Do you have a question you want featured on One Mic? Leave a comment below and make sure to subscribe to Manifesto TV.
All I need is one mic.